Hey again, Thomas. How are you?
Jonathan, I'm doing great, my friend. I'm doing great. Listen, I got a good subject. I had a couple of conversations with people over the last week and a half. And it's interesting because we're both business owners and we've also been involved in absorbing other businesses. All right. So this is the one I'm going to throw at you. Should you invest in opening a franchise or purchase an existing business? That's what's been presented to me. So what are your thoughts?
I think it really depends on a few factors. One being, do you have some type of investment to put into the franchise that you will be able to take care of it? Do you believe that franchise has the path that you want? So you have to align with them perfectly. If you don't, then it's not going to be a good relationship long term. And really, what do you want to see out of it? Do you want to create your own, or do you want to just be a part of a already successful brand? It's
Mhm.
very I mean, what, 19 years ago, I wanted to buy I wanted to get into a franchise. I didn't do it because what I found out is all I had to do all the grunt work myself anyway. I got their name. I had to put marketing dollars in the business, but I had to build the business from scratch anyway. So unless I was going to go in and go in with a Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's, a huge
Mhm.
brand, to
Mhm.
me it didn't make sense. So I
Mhm.
went ahead and I started my own brand myself and put all that money that you had to put into the franchise. I did it myself into my own company, put all the grunt work, the sales, the running around, the door knocking, the cold calling. I did all that for myself, and it's a lot. You don't know who you are yet. You're just kind of figuring it out. So it's very difficult. I'm not gonna say it's easy, but once you start seeing yourself as like people start knowing who I am, knowing the company, you're proud of that. You're really like I built this up from nothing,
Mhm.
and now there's something of value there. You can actually sell your company down the road if you wanted to, what the business it has, the reputation it has. So I always
100%.
go that route, but
Okay.
I like the idea of looking for strategic partnerships or strategic acquisitions, right?
Mhm.
So maybe I'm looking for a company that is like mine but smaller, or a lone wolf, a guy that's or a person that's working on his own and
Mhm.
tired of it. He wants to do it with help. So maybe a good in the middle spot would be to look for a person that's already built something but is not there yet and they need help. So maybe you can expedite your success rate.
Mhm.
Those first few years, like you're not very profitable if you are at all. You're just sinking money into a business that has a future, but you may not be making that money from day one.
Yeah. A lot of people, look at franchises, the people that have the dream of like having a business and everything. And franchises aren't made up to be exactly how they show themselves. You really don't see money right away. Some people have this idea, hey, if I open your Dunkin' Donuts or Papa John's or, some type of hamburger joint, whatever it may be, you think the doors, once you open them up, there's going to be people, coming in, running in. It doesn't work that way. I've seen a lot of people actually fail in franchises, but most people are looking for that franchise. They're looking for the hand holding. That's exactly what they're looking for. They're looking for the guidance. You got to look at for every dollar you make, you got to give at least about 9 to 12 cents of that dollar to the franchise itself. You're giving up a lot of money when you do that. Yeah, they're doing this for me. They're doing marketing for me. You're putting in all the blood, sweat, and tears. That's what's happening. And then you're going to have regional guys come to you. I had a friend of mine that had a few subways, and they're very, very strict. The franchise owners, and when they send these managers out. So again, it's not made up to what it's supposed to be. And I saw people, put their house up as credit and they, ended up closing the business in a 2 year period or less. And, they lose out. And it sucks when you do that. But to go back to what you're saying, you know, you have the dream and the hustle. Not everybody's a go-getter. You and I both know that, all right? They're very few and far between these days.
Yep.
But we've talked about white labeling in the past, and that's what I mentioned in my conversation with a couple of people in regards to that. And they weren't really familiar with that. like yourself, Jonathan. It's just like you do some white labeling for companies that come to you. You do all the digital media, but they throw their brand on their own company name. And you know what? You don't touch their clients because they make sure there's a non-disclosure agreement. You can't go after them, etc. And
Right.
also, it's an ethics issue and a legal issue if you do.
Yep.
So there's another opportunity if you wanted to get into a business. There's no franchise fee. It's really time and that you have to put in education. But if you can approach a company that's doing white label, like Jonathan's company for digital marketing, for example, you know what? He does the hand holding. He'll show you if you got a good personality. And I always say, people with good personalities, you're always going to have a job. Just go out there and you'll be able to sell. And that's what it comes down to. All right. Starting your own business, again, that's not easy, if you're starting it from scratch, because you got to look at the initial capital investment that you're doing, you're renting, you're buying any equipment, so a lot goes into play, and especially hiring somebody. But I am a big, proponent and supporter of white labeling. And I think if there's businesses out there watching this, there could be an opportunity for you to, instead of hiring salespeople, you can actually go after people and almost, I don't want to say as independent contractors, but they'll be subcontractors where they have their own business. Always set up an S corporation when you're starting out. So, you approach that business, they're going to pay your corporation. Again, you make sure everybody's protected legally on both sides. Make sure you're both happy with the I's dotted, T's crossed. But the white labeling is the way to go, in my professional opinion. I've been in the game for over 3 decades. I know what I'm talking about, and that's the direction you should go. Your thoughts on that, Jonathan?
Well, it's a great way to go because you get the best of both worlds. You get the training and the support that you want with a franchise model, but you don't actually have to do any of the work or any of the fulfillment, whatever the business may be. So it's a happy medium between the two. Again, like you said about buying into a franchise, a lot of people don't realize it could cost, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to get into a certain franchise.
Yeah,
So
it
you
can
even
get
have
up into the millions.
that
Yeah.
money, you don't have it if you're borrowing it. Now
Mm-hmm.
add that on top of all the interest and payments that you're going to have to be putting out there. So
Yeah.
you got to be very strategic. Maybe you're not a hustler. You just have a lot of money. You need to figure out how to use it. It's a different type of situation, but most small businesses or small people that are trying to get in and be that big company,
Mm-hmm.
you should be the franchise, right? Put all your time and focus and whatever money you have available, and that do strategic things
Mm-hmm.
and go look at interview white label companies that will do that in your industry and see how that works. And then it might be something that you could push forward with.
100%. And it's when you're doing, it's not fit for every industry, the white labeling, but it fits a lot of industries. You just have to look at it and say, okay, what's going to be the best fit for my personality, my work ethic? And that's the way you want to look at it. But you also have to be smart, especially in these economic times. All right. You got to be very smart. And again, we love using the word strategic because it comes into play. Okay. If you rush into something, you know what, you could be hanging yourself and losing a lot of money. And I would hate to see that happen to anybody. That's my personal view on it. You want to add anything before we end this, Jonathan?
Just be very, think about it, look yourself in the mirror. What do you want to do? How do you see yourself in 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? And just,
Mhm.
you should ask yourself that question every few months because, you may change as a business owner, right? Your desire may be different than when you first started. And the most important thing in business or in work, you have to love what you do, right? If you love what you do, you'll do a better job and you'll live a happier life. And that's really, I think, what we all want. We want to live a nice, happy life that you can live comfortably in.
Correct. And one thing I'm just going to add before I end this, always do your research, do your homework, and do a lot of reading. Read about the people you're getting involved with and know who you're getting in bed with. That's the bottom line. All right. Because you don't want to get your pants pulled down and lose all your money. All right. You definitely don't want that to happen. But you
Yeah.
know what? We appreciate you listening. Hopefully, this has been creative knowledge for you. please hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it, and subscribe. You guys have a wonderful day. Take care.
Take care, everyone.